afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Well, how are you?
We are fine, thank you. Great.
Good. Well, today we will continue our lesson, language assessment. Well, we are going to turn to language assessment, and in this lesson we are going to talk about testing, assessing, and teaching. And at the same time, we will include the formative and summative assessments in this lesson. Well, do you know the difference between formative and summative assessment?
Of course, yes.
Well, what are they? What's formative assessment? What's summative assessment? Yes.
I guess the formative assessment is the assessing during the lesson, and the summative is after full unit or topic.
Yes, at the end of the course, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, what about testing? Testing and assessment. What's the difference between them?
The difference between testing and assessment. Testing is a tool or measure to measure.
What's about assessment?
Assessment is assessing the difference between testing and assessment. Testing is a tool or method to measure knowledge, while the assessment is evaluating.
Thank you, Zamira. Well, you are right. Well, as you see here, it says that testing is a formal process to measure skills or knowledge. Well, it checks the particular knowledge that you have gained. As for assessment, it's an ongoing process that will evaluate your knowledge during the class, during the activities, and ongoing process, and it will continue. Clear? Well, what's the purpose of testing? Well, measures achievement or progress. It only checks whether you have achieved your particular goal or target in that particular subject. What about the format? It will be multiple choice, essays, performance, as you have already mentioned. It will be open-ended testing and then closed. Then multiple choices.
Role plays,
discussions, and project works. Thank you. And results provide data for decisions, achieving your desired score. What is assessment? Assessment is a broader term, process of gathering evidence about learning. It means just ongoing process and it will continue. Well, as for test, it only evaluates a particular subject or knowledge that you have gained. As for assessment, it will evaluate you during the classes. Well, it includes tests and informal checks. What about informal checks? Do you have any idea about informal checks?
Asking questions.
Asking questions, yes. ICC questions, CCQ questions. Well, informal checks, it's just good job. You are great, yes. And purposes, improve learning and certify outcomes. And ongoing rather than one time only. Well, as we have already mentioned, it's just as a continuous, it will be long-lasting. As for the evidence, can be qualitative and quantitative. I think that you know the difference between quantitative and qualitative, right? Thank you. Teaching. What's teaching itself for you? Conducting the lesson, Sharing your knowledge with them. Guidance. Learning. At the same time, you learn, right? Well, teaching is the practice of facilitating students' learning. It gives giving input to your learners about a particular thing. Well, international planning and instruction is for users' assessment to guide next step. It only shows you what to do. You only shows to your learners what to do next. And goal to promote understanding and skills. Here in this section, we may see how testing, assessment, and teaching connected. Well, assessment, it informs teaching choices. As for teaching, it prepares students for tests, right? And as for testing, it provides measurable feedback, what you have achieved during learning process. Well, here you may see the summative assessment. As you have mentioned, summative assessment is a type of assessment that will be conducted at the end of the course, right? Summative assessments evaluates learning at the end of the instruction. Well, the purpose of this summative assessment is certify or grade achievement and timing and or unit or course at the end of the course, it means. And examples, final exams or projects. For example, in summer and in winter term, you have your final exams, right? It will be your summative assessments. And projects, at the end of the course, you are going to submit your curriculum. It will be your summative assessment. And high stakes often determines outcomes. It only helps you to achieve your result. Well, as for the strengths of summative assessments, well, often it contains accountability, standardization, summarizes and useful for you. It means for learners. And what about the limitations of summative assessment? Well, how do you think? Is it useful or
Useful.
you think no need to give summative assessment for students?
No necessary.
Because we should know the result of our teaching.
What students have gained outcome.
Analyze the mistakes.
Good job. Thank you. And formative assessment. Well, formative is ongoing process that you will submit your assessments, tasks, projects during the class, right? Well, the main purpose of formative assessment, guide next instructional step. It only helps you what you have should improve in your project or task. And timing during instruction. Well, you're gonna submit it during the class or during the whole semester. And examples, quizzes, pools, observations. Well, I think on a daily basis you do any kind of quizzes like Kahoot, word wall, in your classes, bamboozle, sorry. And focusing on growth. Well, the main purpose just to improve your outcomes. Strengths. As for the strengths, except for these strengths like feedback, adapt teaching, encourage self-regulation, what you may add to for formative assessment?
Identify the mistakes or our some the exercise simultaneously after the
Students involved during the course.
Well,
knowing students' preferences.
Well, the first one is timely feedback. As you know, well, whenever you conduct your formative assessment, your tasks or that work will be checked immediately, right? And then you may get your feedback, and then at home or during the class you may correct it. And then adapt teaching, to needs. Well, what you need? Well, in our previous lesson we have already discussed about the needs, likes and wants, and what you should improve. I mean, what's you don't have in your work. And then encourages self-regulation. Well, it only helps you to work or just to be autonomous learner. Well, reliability in assessment. Well, in our previous lesson we discussed reliability and validity, right? What is reliability?
When we measure what we have.
It only measures the result, right? It only focuses on the result of the test. Well, reliability refers to consistency of assessment result across occasions. Well, consistent scores across repeated measures. Well, then at the beginning of the course, what kind of score you have achieved, it should be consistent, right? What about validity? Validity.
Assessing what we have learned, they have learned, it's not should be out of topic or out of chair.
Well, validity assess what should be what intends to measure? It means that you will be assessed on the particular subject what you have learned. There shouldn't be any kind of extra information or questions, out of topic questions, in other words. Have you ever heard the rubrics? Rubric or transparent scoring? Rubric. No? Well, here you may see a rubric, a sample of a rubric. Well, in rubric it will be detailed. It will describe the detailed description of the scoring. Well, what kind of result or score should be given to a particular test taker? For example, if you are going to conduct a project for PowerPoint presentation, well, in this rubric it will be written detailed in what particular skills you will be checking. Clear? Well, here you may see analytic, holistic, and descriptors rubrics. Well, the first one, analytic rubrics, separate skills criteria. For example, reading, writing, listening, and speaking. As for holistic, give single overall score. It means according to the criteria, you will be given overall band score for your project. For example, if you are taking a speaking test, you will be assessed according for 4 criteria, right? Fluency, accuracy, grammar, vocabulary, and overall you will be given your band score. It's called holistic rubric. And the last one, descriptors, define performance level clearly. In what level you perform. For example, well, good, satisfactory, clear. Self-regulation. Self-regulation, I think you know that self-regulation. And what's that?
This is when the students themselves manage the way they study, they learn.
Yes. Well, in other words, self-regulation helps you manage your own learning process. How you manage your time, your effort, your focus. Well, the goal setting clarifies target and steps. Self-monitoring tracks progress and errors. As for the reflection, it's like a self-reflection. You know what's the self-reflection?
It's like reviews all that we have learned.
Yes. Just focusing on your background knowledge, repetition. And peer assessments. Have you ever given to your peers this kind of assessment?
Every lesson we give them feedback for their presentations or for their self-study
performance.
Yes.
And how do you think? Is it positive or negative to give peer assessment to each other?
Positive.
Positive. Why?
Because it assists students to enlarge their motivation.
Boost.
And they learn to gain some negatives and positives about their performance.
Okay, thank you. I think it's positive. It has pluses rather than drawbacks, because whenever you get feedback from your peer, I think you will accept it appropriately, right? And because when you are assessed by your supervisor, you take it serious, right? And in some cases, you feel like lose of motivation to keep going. And when your peer or your friend shows your mistakes, I think in that case you realize your mistakes and try to work on themselves, right? Thank you. Well, that is the end for our PowerPoint presentation. Now we have one quiz. Well, for this quiz, you need your mobile phones. I will send you a link to join to that quiz, and then you will start doing it. Clear? Well, have you done with quiz?
Yes.
Okay, well, how many correct answers you have? I think all of you have 10 out of 10, right?
Yes.
Thank you, it's a good job. Well, it's the end for our lesson. Well, what you have gained, what you have gotten from this lesson?
We have learned about validity, reliability, and formative, what is formative and summative assessment.
So we have learned about validity, about reliability. So the difference between summative and formative assessment. What is teaching or what is assessing? So
We have mentioned about peer assessment, like how it can be useful for learners.
We also learned about approaches, self-regulation, reflections also.
Feedback.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Well, others? Any questions? Do you have any questions related to the course? No. In that case, thank you. We'll see you next lessons. Bye-bye.
Bye.